I'm legally insane. And that's why I've created a list of 10 games down from over 100. You try making a list where you have over 100 games on it and downsizing it to just 10. Okay? I did it for 10 games that I would like to beat. I'm talking 100% complete. Start to finish. 10 games that I will beat in the year 2023. Now, admittedly, the list might change. I've made this list probably 20 times now, and every time I make it, it changes. So I decided the final list that I just completed, I spent 3 hours thinking about it. This is the list that I'm going to give to you. And these are ambitious goals. I might not complete them. I might not complete them all. But I'm going to try. Oh yeah, I'm going to try all right. And your mother's going to help me with it. Your mother's going to help me with that. Oh yeah, you know she is. So let's get started. These are no particular order. Game number 1, which I've already started. I'm taking a break on it at the moment to complete another game. Adventure Island 2. Super Adventure Island 2 for the Super Nintendo. This right here is the best Adventure Island game ever made. It's basically a action platformer RPG type of game. It's like no other Adventure Island game out there. They really got away from the main formula while maintaining the same humor, the same main character, the same graphic style. Like, I'm pretty far into it. I'm on the just finishing the ice world, which I think is the second world. There's probably five worlds, and it's honestly one of the best games I've ever played in my entire life. I was really enjoying it. I only took a break because I had to go back to Octopath Traveler and finally finish her off. And this is a Hudson Soft game. Hudson Soft in their prime. Hudson Soft was a strong competitor with Konami and Capcom. So Hudson Soft was right up there with the best of the best. Right? Hudson Soft is no joke. Old school Hudson Soft was no joke. They put a lot of effort into the stuff that they made. All right, number 2. Well, that's an obvious one. Octopath Traveler. I'm 69 hours in, giggity. Just kidding. I'm actually 89 hours in now. And yeah, admittedly, some of those hours is me sleeping, falling asleep in my chair while I play it, because I'm an old man gamer now. You got a problem with that? I'm an old man gamer. I fall asleep in my chair. I play nice, relaxing games, and I fall asleep. I play at nighttime before I go to bed. Once I start falling asleep in my chair, by the time I wake up, that's when I know it's time to go lay in my bed, in my real bed now, and actually sleep. Yeah. That's what I do. You got a problem with it? Well, you know who doesn't have a problem with that? You know who likes that? You know who likes it when I play Octopath Traveler and fall asleep in my chair? Your mother likes it. Yeah, she loves it when I bring Octopath Traveler over to her house and I play it at her place. Octopath Traveler, I have a love-hate relationship with this game because on the one hand, it's a great RPG with some of the best turn-based RPG game mechanics ever made to make turn-based combat very fun again. But on the other hand, the story sucks and it's complete garbage, and I've been forcing myself to finish it. I wish I could tell you I was really enjoying it. But I'm not. But sometimes I am. That's that love-hate relationship, because sometimes I love the story. It just really depends on what character you're playing. Some of the characters in this game have great stories, and other characters have a complete garbage stories. And it's mostly garbage. The garbage outweighs the greatness. But it's the greatness that makes you keep playing it. You're like, hey, well, I really like that one character's story, but I got to spend another 20 hours to go back to that story and finish it off. And then, 20 hours later, I get to go back to it again, and then I got to play for another 20 hours of garbage, and then 20 hours later, I get to play it again. So that's Octopath Traveler for you. And that's an honest review, by the way. I'm not one of those YouTube reviewers that plays the game for 15 hours and then writes a review and says it's amazing. Yeah, try playing it for 69 hours, buddy. It doesn't get better. It only gets worse. You might have thought it was cool and fun for the first 10 to 15 hours like I did, and then you realize the story doesn't get better. And you've already hit prime Octopath Traveler. Top of the line. You've already hit peak Octopath Traveler. It doesn't get better. At least not yet. I'm 89 hours in. Yeah, some of it I was sleeping. Admittedly. All right, next game. The OG. The OG, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be in the beat 'em up category. King of Dragons. Super Nintendo, bitch. King of Dragons. This is an arcade port, only ever ported on the Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo exclusive. Suck on that, Sega. Sega never had this game. Sega kids could only dream of having this. They had to lie to themselves and say that well, we don't need it because we have Streets of Rage. Streets of Rage is pretty good, I ain't gonna lie, but it has nothing on King of Dragons, not even close. Best beat 'em up ever made to this day, and I've beaten it before, so why is it on this list? Because I decided that I would like to beat it again. I've been thinking a lot about this game recently, and what a masterpiece. What a gem. This game is perhaps in the top 10 best games ever made. It's the best beat 'em up ever made, and I've only ever beaten it once. So I thought, hey, you know what? Maybe it's time I go back and I do it again. Maybe I'll be a different character this time. I find it to be extremely difficult to beat the game with one of the fighters. Close range combat characters. I always found that the elf and the wizard were easier. Wizard for sure. I mean, wizard, typical wizard, very hard in the beginning, but he gets so powerful that he's the most powerful character at the end. So as long as you can survive the beginning, I've felt like the wizard, because of that, he was one of the easier characters. All right, next game, Steins Gate. This is a recent pickup, Steins Gate Elite, Spike Chunsoft game. I'll have this in a future pickup video. This hasn't been revealed yet. I don't know anything about it. I'm going into it blind on purpose. It's a visual novel game, visual novel style game that I've only heard nothing but good things. Nothing but good things, but yet I know nothing about the story other than it's sci-fi. Pretty sure it's sci-fi at least. And it's Spike Chunsoft, and I've had a good experience with Spike Chunsoft. So I decided to get Steins Gate, and this game's hard as hell to find. It's getting expensive. And this has the DLC, especially if you want it CIB with this DLC for an 8-bit adventure that you can download. Completely new 8-bit style NES game. To get that download voucher that isn't used, to get the voucher in general, like, this game was tough to find. I'm not going to get into that, though. Next game on the list is a little bit surprising. Simpsons Wrestling. A game so bad, it's good. This is one of the worst games ever made, which also makes it one of the best games ever made. I've never played single player, though. I've only ever played 2-player. in a wrestling match, and I know that there's like 10 characters that you can unlock that I've never unlocked, and I don't even know who they are. And I decided, you know what? Maybe it's time after like 20 years since I played it, or since I got the game, sorry. Maybe it's time I actually go and beat single player and unlock the characters. Like, I've always wanted to be the locked characters, because I love The Simpsons, and you're so limited in your selection without going in and unlocking all of those characters. So I'm going to have to beat single player. I'm going to have to go through the torture of single player, because that's meant to be multiplayer. That's a multiplayer game, guys.
Excuse me while I beat you silly, Mr. Krusty. And please come again.
Now, you wouldn't hit a clown, would you? Ow! Hey, hey!
Uh-oh!
I'm gonna enjoy this. Ow, quit it.
And on the subject of PlayStation 1, Parasite Eve. This is one of the best games ever made, one of the best Squaresoft games ever made, but I've never beaten it. I have played it, but it was a rental for me. I rented it like once or twice, and that was it. I don't know how far I got. I don't think I got very far, to be honest. And I think it's a fairly short game. I'm pretty sure I've read that you can beat it in about 15 hours. And after Octopath Traveler, which is going to take me 120 plus hours by the time I finish it, I'm looking for shorter RPGs. I don't want to play 120 hours of any game anytime soon, okay? Not anytime soon. I'll play 40 hours, but 120 is too much, man. Next game is a Suda51 game that I didn't even know was Suda51 until I read the back of the case. Prior to making this video, I read the back of this case. This game is a adventure game. It's officially classified as an adventure game, but I will call it an adventure visual novel style game, because it's basically, it's, in my mind, it's a visual novel. But I guess because you're doing more than just reading text, it's technically an adventure game. But it's story heavy. It's a story-based game. So let's just call it an adventure visual novel game. You're a detective, and there's some murders going on and a bunch of detective stuff. This is actually 2-in-1 game, by the way. Descend into a dystopian world crafted by Suda51, which is a legendary team. Legendary studio, unravel mysterious murders and discover dark secrets in the Silver Case and its sequel, the 25th Ward, the Silver Case. This is the Silver Case 2425 Deluxe Edition. You can get it on the PlayStation 4 as well. I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be friggin' awesome. This is NIS America. NIS America game. They always release good games, and a lot of them end up going up in value as well. That's a tough game to find for cheap as well. Number 9, Rhapsody Adventure. Another NIS game. NIS America game. This is the 2-in-1. Prinny presents NIS Classics Volume 3. It also has La Pucelle Ragnarok, which I don't know anything about. I believe it was never previously released in North America, though. And the reason why I want to play Rhapsody, a musical adventure, which is an RPG game, and it's only about 15 hours is my understanding, so it's nice and short. Doesn't have a serious plot. It's meant to be a little bit funny. The reason why I want to play that is because that turns out that's part of a 3-game series, and North America never got the other 2 games, which is probably like a prequel and maybe a sequel or 2 sequels. I'm not sure, but NIS is coming out with the trilogy. I think it's the next 2 games, and maybe even the next 3. So maybe it's beyond a trilogy, but they're releasing that for the Switch later this year. And I am going to be picking that one up. So I thought, okay, well, before I pick that one up, I better actually beat the original and see if I even like it, because I might actually find that maybe I don't like it. Maybe it turns into another Octopath Traveler, and 8 hours in, I'm saying, hey, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to have to turn it off or force myself to finish it. Oh, sorry, that was number 8. Number 9 is I really want to beat a racing game. I would have said Need for Speed 1 and or 2 for the PlayStation 1, but I don't own those games, and I haven't been able to find one for cheap. I'm only going to get it if it pops up for cheap. Because of that, I decided to go to the next latest and greatest Need for Speed game that I used to play on PC, which is Need for Speed Underground number 2. And this time I'm going to be playing on GameCube. However, the thing is, I can't remember if I played number 1 or number 2 on PC. I owned both, but I only ever played 1. Both of the covers look really familiar, so I don't know which one I played. I have a feeling it was number 2, so that's why I just brought up both of these, and I'm just going to throw them together as number 9, because I will decide which one. And maybe I'll even just start with number 1 by default, just so that I can get a good comparison to see what, if any, improvements they did in number 2. And the thing about racing games, real quick, is that what makes a good racing game is the music. You have to have really good music to make a racing game fun. And that's why I believe Need for Speed Underground goes down as the best Need for Speed game ever made. It has a cult following, both of them. But they also have really freaking good soundtracks, unbelievable soundtracks with unbelievable gameplay. I'm not even big into racing games, but Need for Speed Underground really, really got me. I played the hell out of that on PC, but I never beat it. So I'm gonna go back and beat it. I think they say maybe it takes takes at least probably 8 hours to beat the game. Like if you just play it straight, or maybe win all the races and don't play multiple races this over and over again. So the last game on the list is Tiny Toon Adventures for the NES. I never beat it, but this is one of the best platformers ever made. And I decided I'm going to go back and I'm going to beat this game once and for all. And I've tried many times throughout my life. But this time I'm going to cheat. I'm going to get a Game Genie. I don't even care. My goal in life was originally to beat this without a Game Genie. And sure, you know what? I'll keep that as a goal in my life, but not this year. No. I'm getting the Game Genie. I don't even care anymore. I'm an old man gamer. I cheat. I play games on easy mode and I cheat. And I don't see a problem with that. I still have fun. I used to think that was cheating. Like, if you beat a game cheating, you didn't really beat the game. Well, now in my old age, I don't care. I don't consider it cheating. I consider it I outsmarted the game. I outsmarted Tiny Toons. I used a Game Genie. I got unlimited lives. Maybe invincibility. I don't know. Whatever code advantage I can get, I'm going to use. I don't even care. I'm going to beat this freaking game. I could list 100 honorable mentions. I'm just going to mention one because I'm probably going to beat this too. You know what? Throw it on the list. Dark Omen for the PlayStation 1. One of the best games ever made. Probably top 10 yet again. Most underrated game ever made and one of the best games ever made. It's a strategy game. You're controlling your armies. You're not building things though. It's not like Warcraft or Starcraft. There's no mining gold. It's just one giant battle. Each level is a battle, but why it gets really hard is because you get a certain amount of gold after each level. And you have to use that gold to repurchase your troops. So reinforce your troops that died, meaning if you get slaughtered but still beat a level, that doesn't help you. You don't have enough money to repurchase that army while also purchasing upgrades. And then there's way more, it goes way more in depth on strategy too, because whoever kills the enemy gets experience points. So if you're letting your cannon, which is the most powerful unit, kill everything, but the cannon's also very weak, and very limited in mobility, etc., well then that cannon is taking all of the experience that your cavalry needs, or your infantry need, or your mage needs. So it gets really strategic. I played the hell out of this. You couldn't even imagine. I put probably 100 hours into it, and I had no chance in hell at beating it. I got pretty far, but it's like, I don't know, maybe I didn't let my cavalry get enough experience points. I don't know. It was just so hard, and I never had enough money to upgrade my units, and I was running out of money, and so I decided, you know what, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to use, I believe there's cheat codes. I remember looking up cheat codes, and if it, I'm pretty sure they're like password cheat codes. You know, you enter a certain button combination, you can get unlimited gold. It might have been Game Shark codes, but either way, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to go back. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to get unlimited gold, and I'm going to beat this friggin' game. And I'm going to use the guide. I was reading up on GameFAQ like a month ago, and there's a couple of hidden items, like if you burn down certain buildings with your mage, there would be like a sword inside. So I'm going to find out where all these secret items are, and I'm going to beat the hell out of that game. And keep in mind, even knowing where all these secrets are and having unlimited money, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. I might still never beat it. This game is hard as hell. It's you have to be insanely strategic. You would typically play the same battle over and over again so that you can memorize the best way to slaughter the enemy and minimizing the amount of troops that you lose. But that's also the fun part. It's fun as hell to do those battles. And there's so many different strategies that you can do, and learning the different types of, trying to be as cheap as you can be. I'll give you an example of how cheap this is. If I've memorized the level that 30 seconds in, the enemy sends a set of cavalry or infantry down this path. They're going to send some troops down this path. I'll tell my cannon to fire in that direction and just keep firing. And the cannon will go across the entire screen, and it'll just be hitting their troops before my troops can even see them. They're in that fog of war. I can't even see them there, but I know they're there because I memorized the level, and I know that they're coming. So I tell my cannon to fire at them and just obliterate the entire infantry army.
Target received. Enemy sighted.
I can obliterate basically an entire army because I memorized that they were going to be there at a certain time, and they were going to send reinforcements from a certain angle. Maybe you send your wizard over there. I know there's an army coming from this direction. I'm going to cast a fireball over there. I know they're hiding in those trees over there. Fireball that. Screw you, bitches. Computer's so cheap. Now it's my turn to be cheap. All right.
Received. Charge! Watch your fire!
So that's a fun game. Holy man. Unbelievable. So I'm going to beat these games. I'm going to beat them this year. That's my goal. What I want to know is, what are your goals for 2023? What games are you going to beat? Leave those games in the comment section, and I'll leave a comment about that game. I'll tell you whether that game sucks or not. So anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, and I would really appreciate if you would hit the thumbs up, like button, because the YouTube algorithm hates me. Yeah, sometimes I get 10 views. And I'm also trying to get to over 9,000 subscribers on my way to collecting over 9,000 retro video games.